In most worlds, and I think including Batman's, you would find that if you were out there fighting crime in a dark gray and black outfit, and you decide to bring a troubled teenage boy along and dress him up in primary colors, I think that goes a little bit beyond child endangerment to outright child abuse. You might as well just be carrying a sign saying, "Shoot the kid, shoot the kid." I always tried avoiding using Robin in the stories. Editor Denny O'Neil sort of forced me into using him a couple stories, and all the time I was lobbying that, let's eliminate him. But, I was never going to be heard by this. And at one point, DC had this idea of giving one of their characters AIDS so they could do an AIDS booklet. Strangely enough, they decided to put a ballot box and let the people who worked in the companies decide who was going to get AIDS in the DC universe. I tried to stuff the box with Robin's name, and at the end, it was Jimmy Olsen who was elected to get AIDS. The entire project was eventually abandoned. And so I thought that was the end of it until Denny O'Neil came up with the idea of calling in to voting on whether Robin lived or died. And I had heard that he wasn't as popular as the Dick Grayson character, and I didn't find out about the final results until weeks after. And I wasn't really surprised. The only thing that surprised me how close the vote was. I kind of figured Batman fans were a ghoulish lot to begin with, and so I figured Robin was doomed. I didn't know there was that many Robin fans out there. Out of 10,000 votes, it was only, there was like 72 votes dividing the living and dying thing. Took me by surprise on that front. It's kind of a nice little story. It starts off very much traditional and then it gets bizarre. A lot of the things that were going on in the world reflected inside the story. A lot of geopolitical stuff that comics at that time just didn't have. The Dark Knight story by Frank Miller has a display case with a Robin costume in it, and there's some reference to the Joker. So I said, well, it's got to be the Joker, and it only made sense. Who else would be, it's not the same. If the Penguin beat him to death with an umbrella, it wouldn't be the same as the crazy Joker with a crowbar. I couldn't think of anything more brutal. It was a weapon of opportunity. It was hard metal. Everything about the crowbar just sort of screamed at me to use it, because I couldn't think of anything more ugly than that to use to kill off a kid. That's why it's a crowbar rather than a gun or a laser or an atomic bomb. Brutal and personal. Shortly after the book came out and became this big hit for them, the merchandising department suddenly realized they had all these lunch boxes and thermoses and pajamas with Robin's picture on it still. And they went, "This is terrible. You're messed up our entire market. Somebody's got to pay." And guess who got blamed? So within a few months, everything that I had up at DC sort of dried up, but it all worked out quite well because I went over to Marvel at that point and we did the Infinity Gauntlet, so I can't complain about the fates treating me badly on that one. It was fun while it lasted, and I went on to do more fun.